Hello, everybody. It's me, Faith. Today, as I was coming back, I saw one of the plants that are on the list of the world's most poisonous and deadliest plants. The list contains plants that are really harmful and could potentially be fatal to humans. If you watch criminal investigation shows, then you'd know that homicide by poisoning are some of the hardest cases to solve. In these criminal investigation shows, the chemicals that are usually used to commit murder are arsenic and cyanide. You also have ricin, which is another commonly used deadly poison. But unlike arsenic and cyanide, ricin is a plant based poison. Ricin is what you'd call a perfect murder weapon for vegans or environmentally conscious murderers that want to murder people while protecting the environment. Ricin poison comes from the seed of the castor oil plant. The plant that I saw today is called Umkhokha. And the seeds of Umkhokha are extremely poisonous. In fact, they are more poisonous than ricin. Umkhokha seeds have also been used as a murder weapon in a number of poisoning criminal cases. Umkhokha is a high-climbing woody vine. It is scientifically known as Abrus Precatorius. The genus name Abrus means delicate and describes the delicate leaflets in Umkhokha. The genus is native to Africa, Madagascar, India, and China. Abrus is one of the smaller genera. It has only about 18 species, with Precatorius as one of those species. The word Precatorius means petitioning or praying. This is referencing the fact that the plant seeds are used in making rosaries that are used by Roman Catholics and Buddhists to count prayers. The seeds of Umkhokha are in most cases bright red and black in color. They look like ladybugs, the insects, but the seeds can also be completely black or completely white or even completely green. The seeds of Umkhokha are very dangerous when consumed by humans and animals. The seeds of Umkhokha are so toxic that even chewing and swallowing like half of a seed can be fatal to a fully grown human adult. That's because the seeds contain a number of poisonous proteins. The most potent of these poisonous proteins is called Abrin. Abrin is one of the deadliest poisons. As mentioned earlier, it is similar to ricin, another deadly poison. For Abrin to be fatal, a person has to consume a dosage of about 90 to 120 milligrams. Abrin can be made into either a powder or a mist, and in this form, it can be inhaled. Abrin can also be made into a pellet and fired from a pellet gun. Additionally, it can be added into a liquid and taken as an injection. When injected, Abrin is 100 times more toxic than when it is taken orally. According to the CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in the US, accidental exposure to Abrin is not possible. It takes deliberate actions for a person to be poisoned from Abrin. So if you were getting ideas, just Control Alt Delete. Anyways, if for some reason you are poisoned, the onset of symptoms may be delayed from a few hours to a few days. This is often true even in cases where the poisoning was extremely high, like the dose was extremely high. So you won't know immediately that you've been poisoned. When they eventually start showing, the symptoms may include abdominal and chest pains, fever, cough, nausea, vomit, bloody diarrhea, liver and bladder failure, convulsion, bleeding from the eyes, and death may result from either cardiac or multi organ failure within 1 to 5 days from the time of exposure. So, how long it takes for a person to die from Abrin will depend on how much poison they have received and how the poison was received. As mentioned, the poison can be inhaled, ingested, or injected. So, what makes Abrin so deadly is how it kills you. So, once Abrin gets inside your body, Abrin goes straight for your cells and they inhibit your cells from making the proteins that they need. And without these proteins, the cells begin to die. Cells in the body die every day through a biological mechanism called programmed cell death or apoptosis. So, cell death is normal, it's actually good for you. But you know what they say, too much of a good thing will kill you. And in the case of Abrin, it literally kills you. So, yeah. Another thing that makes Abrin so deadly is that it has no antidote. So, if you get poisoned, you are most probably going to die. Terrible. If you suspect that you've been poisoned, the best thing to do is palaza and then go to the hospital, especially if the poison has been absorbed into the bloodstream. All the hospitals can do is give you supportive care to minimize the effect of the poison because it has no antidote. And this can be in the form of helping you breathe, so they can give you oxygen, or maybe they can help you absorb the nutrients if you're unable to eat. Basically, they are treating the symptoms as they show up. They're not actually removing the poison. To make things worse, as if this wasn't bad enough, there is no medical test that can be done to definitively say that a person was killed with Abrin. So, if you get poisoned and you die, it is undetectable, it's untraceable. The upside is that doctors can do like DNA amplification. Remember, Abrin inhibits protein synthesis in the cell, and in biology, we learned that DNA is responsible for making all the protein in the body. So basically, doctors will look at the symptoms and deduce that you've been poisoned with Abrin. It's not the best approach, but I guess if you think about it, but I guess if you think about it, it's better than being poisoned with succinylcholine choline because succinylcholine makes a person's death looks like a heart attack. So if somebody injects you with succinylcholine, you basically look like you've died from a heart attack. And the worst thing is once succinylcholine gets in the body and you die, it disappears. Like it cannot be detected. So yeah, it's probably the worst way to be killed. Um, yeah. But obviously, the person will need to have had like a documented history of heart problems. You know, if you just drop dead from a heart attack out of the blue, then it might be suspicious. I feel like this video is more about how to get away with murder than about the umkoka plant. So I'm just gonna start talking about umkoka plant and less about Abrin. Yeah. Okay. So the seeds are only poisonous when uncooked or when raw. When cooked or boiled in either water or milk, the seeds lose the poison and become harmless. The harmless seeds are used by different groups of people in different ways. For example, Indian people use the seeds to weigh gold using the rati weight measurement. The reason they do this is because the seeds of umkoka are water resistant, so they have a water impermeable cover that protects water from going in and out. So this makes the weight of the seeds constant. And this is probably the reason why the seeds are considered stable and they last for a very long time in any type of environment, whether it's extremely cold or extremely hot. I think this is also in India where the seeds are made into a paste that is applied on the skin to treat dermatological ailments and leprosy. In China, the seeds are used as a symbol of love. The Chinese name is, oh my God, Xiang Sido, probably butchered that, or mutual love bean. Yes. The deadliest seeds are used as a symbol of love in China. So if you ever wondered what love and death have in common, now you know. In Nigeria, the seeds are used to treat diarrhea. In the West Indies, the seeds are used to make bracelets that ward off evil spirits and the evil eye. It is said that in voodoo, when witches want to kill a person, they will make a voodoo doll or an effigy of the intended victim, and in place of the ears, they would put the seeds of umkoka. It's not just the seeds that are useful. The leaves and the roots of umkoka are also used by different people for different reasons. So, indigenous African tribes use the seeds, roots, and leaves, as well as the flowers of umkoka, to treat various ailments such as eye infection, stomach disorder, snake bites, and they also use it as a contraceptive, but it's actually the extracts of Abrin that are used as an oral contraceptive. In South Africa, the leaves and roots are used to treat tuberculosis, bronchitis, whooping cough, chest pains, and asthma. And Zulu people use the roots and leaves to treat chest pains and to make a love potion. In Tanzania, the leaves are used to make tea that treats epilepsy. In Siddha medicine, this is traditional medicine in South India. The leaves are also used to make tea to treat fever, cough, and colds. The reason the leaves of umkoka are used to make tea is because the leaves have a sweet taste to them. So they're very good for making tea. The tea actually tastes nice and smells nice as well because it has the licorice, as you'll hear later, it has like a licorice taste and smell to it. In Zimbabwe, the plant is used to treat schistosomiasis or bilharzia. This is a parasitic disease caused by flatworms. In France, the stem and leaves are mixed in a concoction to treat diarrhea and inflammation of the urinary tract. In Jamaica, the roots have historically been used as a substitute for licorice. That's actually where the other English name of umkoka comes from. So the name that I'm talking about is Indian licorice. So as I mentioned earlier, the plant is also native to India and it's also used by Indian people. And in India, they call it the Indian licorice. The different parts of umkoka can be prepared in different ways to treat various ailments. Some of the simplest preparation methods include crushing the leaves and adding them to boiling water to prepare a steam bath to treat eye inflammation, or boiling the seeds in milk and subsequently drying them and using them as an emetic for ukupalaza. You can also boil the seeds in milk, then crush the boiled seeds into powder and use the powder to make a nervine tonic. This is a tonic that you drink to improve the function of your nervous system. Umkhokha is very useful in different parts of the world. Besides having medicinal value, the leaves are consumed as vegetable in some parts of Africa. The seeds can also be used to decorate costumes, and they're also used as lucky charms to protect against illnesses. Uses of this plant are quite contradictory because it's a very deadly plant, especially the seeds are very deadly, but they're also used as a charm to protect against illnesses. So, yeah, that's quite weird. But anyway, it happens. The plant is cultivated as a garden ornament because of its attractive bright red and black seeds. So these are the same seeds that can potentially kill you. But in some parts of the world, umkoka is an invasive plant, while in other parts of the world, it is a weed plant. For example, in the US state of Florida, umkoka is declared as a category 1 weed. And in Cuba, umkoka is known as an invasive plant. So basically, umkoka is like a knife. You can either use it to slice a piece of bread, slash someone's tires, or anyways. That's it on umkoka. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a blessed weekend and bye.